Good evening. Welcome. Welcome. It's been a while, I know. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm gonna let y'all come in. Good evening. Good evening. I'm gonna wait like 30 more seconds. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I know people are like, "What? She's back." I'm back. It's been a while. We're gonna let this phase out, and then I'm gonna get started. This is no one meant to be. This is me. I love that song. I love that song. Hi guys. I hope everybody is doing okay. Happy Thursday. I've been away, but doing good things, doing great things. Wanted to start out first and foremost by saying thank you to everyone who has sent a card, a text message, an email, who's called, who have sent flowers due to the recent passing of my god grandmother. I sincerely appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for your compassion. People don't have to be nice, and I do believe that when they are, it is my obligation to say thank you. So thank you guys so much. It's been a tough one, but we are happy that she is no longer in pain. And again, I do thank you guys so much for reaching out. Your love is very much needed still to this day. So thank you guys so much. I'm jumping on tonight, and as you guys know, I don't keep you long. If you're on, you're only going to be on for 30 minutes because I know that we all have lives to live. But I wanted to definitely, hey, Warren, I definitely wanted to get online tonight and talk about something that I have been pondering on. And I think it's a very fitting conversation to have, especially at this time in the year. We're going into August. August, the number of 8 symbolizing a new beginning. Also, we're nearing into a time where one season is on the verge of a close and a new one is beginning. And so with that being said, I think it's imperative that we really start thinking about what we're thinking about. So tonight the title is Ending the War. And I did it that way because I want to talk about the battlefield of the mind, as most people would call it. And if you are not accustomed to Thursday with Jamila, here's where you grab your pen and your notepad, because I'm about to give you a journal prompt, because it's time for us to get back in the habit of writing. So tonight's journal prompt is going to be, what have I given my thoughts the freedom to make out of me? I'm going to say it again because maybe you don't have your pen and your pad ready, but here it is again. I want us to write in our journal, what have I allowed my thoughts the freedom to make of me? And I want us to think about that, because honestly, we only become what we are first brave enough to think of ourselves and believe of ourselves. And the realities that we live in are only the realities that we're bold enough to imagine. And so we need to be very cautious and be very mindful of what we allow ourselves to think of. I'm not going to go all into the medical terminology. You guys know that my degree is in psychology, and so it's just fun for me. It's not fun for everybody, but I want to give us a high level overview. We have a subconscious and we have a conscious mind. And what we sometimes are not aware of is a lot of who we are is formulated by what is lying dormant in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is one of the things that actually doesn't have to be active in thought, but it actually does. It has a very strong perception of what's going on in our conscious state. So we need to be very mindful of and take inventory of what we have allowed to become long-term memories, because those things are the foundation upon which everything else that we encounter in life is built upon. So what have you given your thoughts the freedom to make of you? And are you proud of that person? And if you're not, and you're still alive and breathing, because you are, because you're watching this, you have an opportunity to change that reality. But it's going to require diligence, and it's going to require honesty. And one of the things that most people struggle with is having a healthy thought life. And some of the things that I want to talk about tonight are how we take back our minds and how we begin to cultivate positive and healthy thinking. One of the known traits of those who are considered to be successful thought leaders is the fact that they have the ability to have a mind that operates in a constant state of gratitude. Gratefulness, if you didn't know, actually stimulates some functions of your mind, your brain, that causes you to be a successful thinker. And so if you have a business initiative, or you have just maybe some personal goals or things about yourself that you have put out there, but you don't have a mind that operates in a constant state of gratitude, what you are doing then is slowing down your ability, your mental ability, to be able to create the reality that you so desire. So it is imperative for us that we take a moment to step back and think about what we're thinking about. Okay, so let's get into it. That was a mouthful, but yes, that's what we're doing tonight. I want to talk about it because I know when we start to get into those fall and winter months, that's when a lot of that depression and that anxiety, and we go into those dark spaces and we live in the dark corners of our mind. But if we can start to think about it before the season even gets here, we will be ahead and more prepared and ready and geared up to face those thoughts when they start to arise. So let's talk about it. So one of my favorite quotes that I have been pondering on lately is, what you focus on is what you create more of. What you focus on is what you create more of. And so that's another reason why I'm asking you to take a moment to think about what it is that you're thinking about, because that thing has become the soundtrack of the life that you're living. It's become the screenplay that everything else is dancing to. So what is that thing that you continue to allow yourself to mull over constantly, and what kind of fruit is it cultivating in your life? I'm not going to say the title of the book that I'm reading, because I know I have a mixed audience and I don't want anybody on Facebook to question my salvation. Yes, I am in love with Jesus. He is the best thing that ever happens to me. The title just doesn't really look very Christian-like, so I'm not going to go down that path. However, there's a lot of great points in this book that I'm currently reading. If you're interested, you can inbox me. I'll let you know what it is. But it's just basically talking about getting over doubting who you are and getting on to living your best life. But the way that you do it is through belief. What do you believe in when it comes to what you're capable of? And I was having a conversation earlier today, and one of the things that I said is, I wrote it down because I just had a moment, but it's, your dreams gives your faith something to pursue after. Your dreams give your faith something to pursue after. If something can shut down your imagination, something can attack your ability to imagine or think of something that has not yet come to fruition, your faith has nothing to pursue after. And I believe that is one of the main reasons why there is a constant attack on our mind. Because if I can shut down your cognitive ability to think better than what you're currently facing, to dream better than what you're currently facing, then, and you actually start to believe that thing to the point that you send your faith out on pursuit of the thing that you have the audacity to dream on. If I can shut that down, then I can stop your progression. And if I can shut that down, I know that you're never going to go one step beyond where you're currently facing, because you don't even have the wherewithal in your mind to think it. So it's imperative that we start being very cautious of what we give our energy to. One of the words that I want to put in your mind tonight is rumination. And it's the tendency to replay over and over the most agonizing parts of a scenario in your mind. to the point to where you deplete yourself of the ability to think of anything other than that. Like you just play it over and over and over. It's the broken record that you allow yourself to play over and over in your head. But it's not the good part of the scenario. It's the agonizing part of the scenario. And then you wonder, or we often find ourselves wondering, why am I in this constant state of distress? Or why am I always in a funk? Or why can't I shake this thing? And it has everything to do with that thing that you just keep playing over and over and over in the subconscious of your mind. And so more than anything, what I would desire for us to do is to really take a moment, take inventory of the person that your thoughts have made of you. And if you don't like that script, get out your eraser. Erase that script, shred it, burn it, whatever you got to do to get rid of it, and let's start over. Let's start over, because what you focus on, you create more of. And so to my dreamer, to my entrepreneur, to my fathers, to my mothers, to my girlfriends, to my boyfriends, to whatever your title is, if you want to succeed and advance in that, but you don't like the script that's been written about you, why not start over? Like, who has more authority over your tomorrow than you? Nobody. So I need for us to be brave enough, to be bold enough, to be bad enough, to look that thing that's not producing the fruit that we want in our life and exit out. Why? Because we got to end the war. Like, it's time to wave the white flag and just be like, nah, I'm good. Because I will tell you this, I'm no longer embarrassed about it. I shied away from talking about it because I didn't want to burn bridges with other people. But here's the thing. I've come to the point that this is my life and I got to live it to the best of my ability. I, Jamila, and I think there are some of you who know this about me. I have struggled with esteem majority of my life, to the point where I wouldn't allow myself to think that I was capable of achieving more than what somebody was willing to give me. Like, if that was what they were offering, then that is what I believed I was good enough to receive. And I got to the point in life where I was tired of that tango. I was tired of that dance. I knew I was capable of more, but I was tired of trying to prove it to other people. But the thing that I realized, and I quoted it the other day, is my need to prove my worth to other people diminishes with belief in myself. The moment that I believed that I was capable of more, to the point where there was no more doubt, like fully persuaded, my life started to go in another direction, a favorable one that mirrored what I was praying and seeking for, but finally believing for. See, I've come to this realization that it's not enough anymore to pray for what you don't have enough faith to believe for. You are going to send yourself in a constant state of frustration because you're praying it, but you don't actually believe it. You don't actually believe that you're worth it. Something in your subconscious has told you that you're never going to be able to obtain that thing. It's too lofty for you. You're not adequate enough. You're not educated enough. You're not thin enough. You don't rock with the right crowd. You don't have enough money. But what I will tell you is this: some of the greatest successors learn how to pick themselves up from rock bottom and believe, if this is as low as I gotta go to get to the top, well, so be it. I've been as low as I'm gonna go. So I believe and I know that I'm capable of more because I've seen the lowest of lows in my own life, right? And so here lately, I've had to tell myself that you've got to get out of the fog of how surreal reality is for you, because you have a job to do. I committed a bulk of my career to an environment that constricted my growth to be all that I wanted to become. Not that it wasn't giving me growth opportunities, but it was restricting totality for me. There was more to me, and I knew that there was more to me, but I had gotten to the place to where I was like, well, if they don't see my potential, then maybe it doesn't exist. But then the light bulb went off, and it said that he that has begun a good work in you shall perform it unto the day of Jesus Christ. So no, they started here, but this is just a stepping stone for you, Jamila. It's not a finality for you. And to my listeners, where you are may just be a stepping stone for you. It doesn't have to be a finale, but you have to believe that it's not your finale. You have to believe that you are capable of achieving and accomplishing more. You have to believe it. Nobody, you can have the greatest mentor on earth pouring into you, speaking well over you. But until you come to the place in life where you believe it for yourself, they are just words amiss. They're prayers amiss. But I have come tonight to let you know we will end the war of inadequacy that is going on in your mind. We are going to end the war of depression, because honestly, all it is the fruit of rejection. It's the fruit of rejection. Somewhere in your life, you have been rejected. You have been told no. You have been convinced that you were not good enough. And because you did not deal with that seed, it has formed a garden of thoughts in your mind that keep you in prison. But I have come tonight to encourage you to write down the person that your thoughts have created you to be, and then rewrite the script. I want you to see it firsthand, because we cannot change what we're not bold enough to acknowledge. So you have to take a moment, do the journal entry, see who life has created you to be by your thought life, and then decide to make it better. You got to do it. You got to do it. Why? Because there's infinite possibilities waiting on you to believe that you can have it. I am deciding to live my best life for the rest of my life because I believe that I'm worth it. It's not about being cocky or full of me. I am full of faith. I said it a few weeks ago. I'm full of faith. I've come to the point in life where I believe that truly, yes, my dad in heaven has provisions for me, that I don't have to beg for anything. I just have to show up in the truth of who he's called me to be, and that which is purpose for me shall be mine. If you would come into the connection in the totality and the truth of who you were created to be, you will walk into infinite possibilities. What you feel is easy, it comes out like no big deal, is wisdom and insight to somebody else. What you do in your sleep is a money-making idea. Somebody is waiting to capitalize on that, but you got to believe it for yourself. Belief is the defining moment that changes the trajectory of your life. But you got to wave the white flag and end the war in your mind that says you're not good enough. You have to end the war in your mind that tells you that this is the finale for you. You have to end that war in your mind, because if you want it, you got to believe it. Nothing is coming to you without first belief that is possible. And so there are a couple things that I wrote down, and I want you to take a couple brunch nugget notes for me, because you know that's what we do on Thursday with Jamila, okay? So brunch nugget number 1 is our thoughts create and produce internal realities that we in turn live out. And so I want us to think about that. Your mind is creating internal realities that you're living out on a day-to-day basis. You, me, and everyone around us. And so sometimes we're taking things personal that really have nothing to do with us, but it has everything to do with that person living out their internal reality that you didn't create. You just happen to be a recipient of their acting out, but it doesn't have anything to do with you. And so what I want us to do in this season is grow up a little bit. We're gonna have to get some tough skin. We're gonna have to understand that we can't be so easily offended by everything, because at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, it didn't have nothing to do with us. But what I will tell you to do is check this. If you continue to be offended by what is happening around you, or you continue to become emotionally not distracted, but emotionally torn by what's happened, then there's some unresolved issues that you need to deal with, because you cannot keep crucifying people for what you haven't first dealt with within your own self. Okay. Brunch nugget number 2. Our conscious mind is controlled by the beliefs that reside in our subconscious mind. Again, I said it a few minutes ago. The subconscious mind begins to its formation from early age. And so there are some things that we do without a second thought, because those are beliefs and values that have been instilled in us from a very early age. And at some point sometimes we have to think about, are those beliefs and values and norms fitting for my current reality? And it's not that the days of old are to be disregarded, but you have to understand why some of those norms were put into place when grandmama was a baby, because that may no longer be applicable. And so don't hold your future hostage to what the past. Okay, let's do that. And then I want to say this: life is an illusion created by your perception. And it can be changed when you choose to change it. Let me say it again. Life is an illusion created by your perception. And it can be changed when you choose to change it. So again, those old beliefs that have really become the filter through which you live your life, are those fitting to your current realities? And if not, change the lens. Like, get a new pair of specs, right? Like, see life for what it is and not what you hoped it could have been or what they told you it wasn't going to become. Like, I have seen so many people sabotage relationships and sabotage opportunities because it didn't fit the mold of what they thought it should be based on historical data. Maybe it's not what you thought it was going to be because what it is better than that. But you're so blinded by the perception of the days of old that you can't see the value in the present. We've got to choose to change out the lenses. Get a new pair of specs. Change your perspective. See it from a different vantage point. Because honestly, life is full of infinite possibilities if we would just dare to believe and see it through the perspective of impossibilities. Like, there's so much out there. There's so much out there. But we've got to give our faith something to chase and pursue after. I'm not going to hold y'all long. You know, that's not my style. That's not my forte. I have a few more minutes before I jump off. But again, I really want us to do that. And we really need to be diligent in that. And I believe the moment that we take captive the thoughts that are creating distorted realities around us or less than favorable outcomes around us, we will start to see our lives take a completely different turn, one that we can enjoy, one that we can laugh about. We'll find ourselves surrounded with like-minded people and people who are ready to pour into where we're going instead of holding us bondage or hostage to what we've been. You've got to check your surroundings. You've got to let people pour into you that really get you, who really see you. To the people who can't see you beyond yesterday, cut the ties. Look at somebody who sees, I see more in you than you believe in yourself today, and I'm going to do my best to pull that out of you. I'm not going to let you settle. I'm not going to let you believe less than what you're qualified for. Surround yourself with people who will check you when you start to self-sabotage, or check you when you start thinking less of yourself than you ought to, because our mind is the gateway to our reality, and whatever you focus on, you create more of. So focus on what you really want out of this life and pursue after that. And if the reality that you're currently living is not conducive to what you want, it's time to do the work. It's time to roll up your sleeves and say, you know what? I'm going to grow old here. I'm going to grow still here. My skill sets are going to be diminished here. I'm not going to evolve past this place if I stay here. I'm going to check my thought life today. I'm going to think better of me today. Because when you start thinking better of you, you make other people see you better. You make other people step their game up as far as their thoughts towards you. And even if they won't say it openly, they admire the shift in you. They may not be able to handle it because so many people were benefiting from that old mindset because it fed into their validation. See, some people want you to think less of you so that they can continue to see themselves in a better light. I don't know why I'm going here, but let me just stay here for a minute. See, here's the thing. There are some people, that's why you got to check who surrounds you and who pours into your thought life, because if you don't have people in your life that'll see that there are some people who want you to stay in that crippled mindset so that they can feel better about themselves, you will die at the expense of other people's validation. I know it for myself. I have been victimized, knowingly victimized, because I allowed other people to make me feel like I was inadequate so they could feel some kind of way about themselves, so they can feel like they had a right. But then the moment when I start changing and believing, wait, there's more in me than what I'm giving out to the world, so I'm going to cultivate that gift, and I'm going to think better of me. Then they're like, oh, wait, hold up, wait, oh, she don't yeah, I don't think less of me anymore. I have my moments where I gotta check myself, because I will say, I was listening to it today. It takes 63 days to change a mindset. It takes 63 days to create a habit. So yes, I'm asking you to do something that you're not going to execute by tomorrow, but 63 days from now, the challenge to change the script that's going on in your mind should have been accomplished. You should have been putting forth the work every single day to be a better version of you. That's our mantra at Bunch of Girls, to become the best version of you. That means it's a constant evolution. That means I'm going to do it better each day. Each day, I'm not going to allow myself to go backwards. Yeah, I may falter. Yeah, I may have a moment, but my moment is no longer going to ruin my entire day. I'm not going to ruminate on the things that are going to rob me of the totality of today. But what I will do, I'm going to say, I had a moment. Let me do something about that. Let me write it out. Let me scream it out. Let me cry it out. But then after the moment has passed, let me come back to living for right now. Let me come back for living for this present moment. If I learned anything over the last couple of weeks with the loss of the person who cultivated self-esteem for me as a young child, I have right now. All I have is right now. I knew when I went home 2 weeks before she passed, that I was saying goodbye. But I took that moment to say goodbye in a way that I knew she'd always remember me. I told her that I loved her and that I appreciated her. I told her that I thanked her for everything that she poured into me, because I had to live for right now. But I knew what tomorrow was going to bring my way. If you have dreams out there and you have blueprints out there, that's your tomorrow. If tomorrow is going to bring you that blueprint, then you got to devote your energy today on the things that are going to get you there. You don't have time to keep self-sabotaging. You don't have time to keep self-sleuthing. You don't have time for it anymore. Man up, woman up. Let's do better about it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to take your idea, and then you're going to be sitting here looking like, oh, well, making money that you could have been making, living in houses that you could have been living in, running in circles that you could have been living in. When are we going to man up, woman up, and start believing enough in who we are to pursue after it? I'm talking about relentlessly. I'm talking about tirelessly. I'm talking about gracefully. I'm talking about live your best life every single day that you have it to live, because tomorrow is going to bring you what you put the energy in for today. So kill the war in your mind that's sabotaging your ability to move beyond the place of offense, beyond the place of rejection, beyond the place of inadequacy, and choose victory. It's time. It's time. 63 days from now, 63 days from now, you should have a completely different mindset. You should be living and executing in a completely different mindset. 63 days from now. It takes 63 days to shift your mind. I'm giving you 63 days. I'm going to commit to 63 days, because there's some mindsets that I need to get back involved in. And remember, the mind of gratitude cultivates mental stimuli that causes you to be successful, because it does something in your mind. This is a psychological, scientific fact, okay? This is not the gospel according to Jamila. Like, I researched this. The mind of gratitude will shift everything around you. When you see something that's less than favorable, find the reason to be grateful in it. I was delayed on where I was going today. And then when you see the accident that you passed by, take that, I'm going to be late, so I'm grateful because it could have been me. It's all about a shift in your mindset. What you going to do 63 days from now? That's what I want to know. So journal prompt for those who missed it. I want you to pull out your journal and I want you to write this prompt. What have I given my thoughts the freedom to make of me? Write it down. Take inventory. If you don't like the script, you got 63 days to change it. That's my challenge to you guys. Thank y'all for joining. I missed y'all. Again, I appreciate your prayers, your texts, your flowers. Thank you for anyone and all who have tried to just make sure that I was okay. I appreciate it. When you lose the matriarch of a family, it's a lot to ingest. But we are grateful that she is resting, that she's no longer in pain, and now she's among the cloud of witnesses. So I got a show to put on because she's watching me and she's expecting for me to be great, and I'm expecting for you to be great. So 63 days from now, I want better. I want better for all of you. Hey, God, mommy, love you, baby. I want better for you. 63 days from now, let's do it. You with me? Bye, guys.